something remarkable is unfolding in the expanse that lies between worlds. An object, uninvited and silent, has made its way back from a fiery journey just behind the sun. The new images captured challenge every expectation humanity has ever held about comets. It's named 3E Atlas. When astronomers revisited their observations post-perihelion, they discovered no sweeping tail of dust or vapor, nor any signs of melting ice or gas escaping. Instead, they witnessed a compact sphere of light, calm and steady, seemingly indifferent to the sun's radiation, as though the sun held no sway over it. This discovery sent ripples through the scientific community. Traditionally, comets are expected to burn away, shedding a tail shaped by sunlight and solar wind, a narrative written by the universe. Yet 3I Atlas does not adhere to this narrative. It brightened fivefold, took on a bluer hue than the sun itself, and remained intact. Dr. Avi Lowe from Harvard describes it as an anomaly that eludes explanation. Some speculate it could be a remnant of ancient physics. Others worry it might be artificial. Regardless, its silent luminescence poses a haunting inquiry in modern astronomy, one without a story. On October 29th, 3A Atlas reached its closest point to the Sun, at approximately 203 million kilometers away. In that moment, it absorbed 770 watts of solar radiation per square meter, enough to vaporize ice and dismantle molecules. This was anticipated to be the peak of its journey, the moment it erupted into gas and dust, crafting a blazing tail just like every other comet catalogued in the solar system. However, instead, telescopes documented an unprecedented phenomenon. The object became 5 times brighter within hours, yet displayed no signs of vaporization. Instruments that should have detected sublimating ice found none. Solar observatories noted a color shift that left astronomers speechless. 3 Atlas had become bluer than the sun itself, a color never seen before in a comet. Typically, comets emit a red glow due to cooler surfaces that scatter sunlight through dust. In contrast, blue indicates heat, metal, and reflection, not melting ice balls, but something reflecting energy with surgical accuracy. Dr. Lowe's first thought was straightforward, yet troubling. If it's brightening without shedding, some other force must be powering it. Upon crunching the numbers, he realized that if outgassing alone led to its acceleration, it must have lost at least 10% to 20% of its mass, billions of tons of matter. Yet, the surrounding void remained pristine, utterly clean. The cosmos showed no trace of what could have constituted a comet's funeral shroud. Days later, the photographs emerged that compelled every scientist to halt and stare. The same telescope that had recently imaged a solar system comet named Lemon, with its textbook tail gracefully extending from the sun, turned its focus to 3 Atlas. What was captured bore no resemblance to anything existing in the astrophysical record. There was no tail, no plume, no gas fan, just a circular glowing blur, identical to what had been observed months earlier when it was still distant from solar heat. If it were a typical comet, the solar wind should have sculpted a luminous streamer stretching millions of kilometers. Instead, 3I Atlas appeared untouched, impervious to radiation. It was as if the sun had no effect whatsoever. One observer remarked, "The comparison image with Comet Lemon became an emblem of disbelief. Lemon, with its elegant light arc. Atlas, a resolute sphere of mystery. The contradiction was too perfect to dismiss. 2 comets, identical observational conditions, one adheres to the laws of physics, while the other rewrites them entirely. The most straightforward explanation is that it might not even be a comet. But writing that assertion in a scientific paper remains a challenge for many." Following this, measurements emerged that rattled the foundations of orbital mechanics. 3I Atlas was not following the gravitational path predicted by Newtonian equations. It was accelerating, smoothly, yet undeniably. If gravity alone determined its motion, such a deviation would be impossible. Dr. Lowe's calculations indicated that for such a non-gravitational acceleration to arise naturally, the object would need to expel significant jets of gas. However, no such jets were detectable. No dust, no vapor, no spike in radiation. It felt as though an invisible hand guided it. Lowe's estimates were harsh. Genuine outgassing would have meant the object lost at least a tenth of its entire mass, leading to a sizable visible cloud. Nothing appeared. The object continued along its path serenely, neither slowing down nor fragmenting. The equations ceased to function. In science, when the math fails, it signals either a fundamental misunderstanding or the emergence of something new. While dynamicists grappled with perplexing orbital data, chemists were stunned by spectral readings. 3I Atlas was ejecting nickel in far larger quantities than iron, a ratio that does not exist in natural cosmic dust. On Earth, that composition is only found in industrial alloys, metals crafted to withstand corrosion and heat. Strangely, its polarization data, how light bends after reflecting from its surface, registered far beyond any known range for a comet. Natural ice and rock scatter light in predictable ways, but Atlas did not conform. Its polarization was extreme, negative, chaotic, as if its surface was engineered to manipulate light reflection. Dr. Lowe enumerated these among almost 10 distinct anomalies. The color, the composition, the trajectory, the absence of a tail, the nickel signature, the alignment with the planetary plane, and its proximity to the enigmatic 1977 WOW signal. Each anomaly might be a coincidence, but together they formed a dense mosaic of improbability, making random coincidences seem disingenuous. Perhaps, Lowe admitted carefully, this trajectory was designed by some intelligence. For a scientist, uttering those words felt blasphemous, yet he voiced them. As researchers examined its orbit more closely, the notion of intentional navigation became increasingly difficult to dismiss. 3 Atlas traversed in the same plane as the planets, threading through the ecliptic with remarkable precision. A feat not achieved by any previous interstellar visitor. It passed close to Mars, Venus, and Jupiter with uncanny exactitude, as though it utilized their gravitational pull for subtle course corrections. When plotted backward, its path appeared tailored to slip behind the Sun precisely as Earth was on the opposite side, resulting in a lack of direct observation during its most luminous phase. Statistically, the chances of such geometry occurring by chance are approximately 0.005%. True randomness does not conceal itself so efficiently. It was as if the object was aware of our instruments and chose a moment when our planet would be unable to see. When asked about its implications, Lowe's response was muted, yet revealing. Perhaps we are simply not the only ones navigating the cosmos. As public interest surged, Lowe found himself briefing members of the United States Congress, explaining the data in layman's terms. He emphasized that science is guided by evidence, not belief. He reminded them how overlooking evidence once prevented the Vatican from looking through Galileo's telescope. The Earth had orbited the Sun billions of times before religion acknowledged the truth, and it will continue doing so regardless of human belief. His message was unmistakable. Examine the evidence, the images, the acceleration, the inexplicable absence of a tail. They are real, verifiable, and measurable. Lawmakers listened with intrigue and unease. Some inquired if any of our rockets could intercept it. Lowe had to convey the truth. No. 3 Atlas is traveling 3 times faster than our swiftest spacecraft and is around 50 times larger than SpaceX's Starship. Nothing on Earth could catch it. A hush fell over the room because when the universe sends something beyond reach, all that is left is observation and humility. Lowe attempted to steer the conversation back to scientific grounding. He reiterated that the simplest explanation could still be rooted in nature. Perhaps it is a massive icy rock shaped in an unfamiliar environment, formed by conditions unknown to our solar system. Its anomalies might be remnants of ancient chemistry rather than intelligence. Yet, even that more conservative viewpoint suggested profound implications. If nature can create something that behaves with this degree of precision, then the universe is stranger than we ever imagined. Conversely, if 3I Atlas is a technological creation, it represents evidence of another civilization capable of traversing the interstellar divide. Both possibilities alter everything we understand. When posed with the question of whether humanity should be concerned, Lowe offered a half smile and remarked, "Only if it sends probes to Earth. My hope is that we won't receive any unwanted gifts this Christmas." Though made in jest, his words concealed the anxiety of every astronomer monitoring the incoming data, as December 19th, the date of its closest approach, drew near. Now, as telescopes across the globe continue to track it, 3A Atlas gradually drifts closer. It remains a radiating tailless sphere, undeterred by heat, unaffected by radiation, sailing through the solar wind as if the laws of physics are merely optional. The Galileo Project's observatories, including the latest one in Las Vegas, maintain their focus on the sky, hoping for one last clue, another deviation, one more flash of significance. The Pentagon's newly established All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, tasked with investigating unidentified phenomena, asserts it has no evidence to imply anything extraterrestrial. Maybe that's accurate. Or perhaps what is unfolding lies beyond their jurisdiction, transcending defense beyond politics. If 3A Atlas is natural, it still compels us to redefine the physics of comets. If it isn't, then we are witnessing something truly unprecedented. A visitor gliding through our cosmic neighborhood without uttering a sound, unscathed, leaving no trace, save for the questions ringing through the minds of all who dare to look. What if the universe is no longer silent, merely subtle? In the cold void between planets, 3A Atlas persists in its silent voyage, indifferent to our inquisitiveness, untouched by the laws we believed governed the universe. No tail, no trail, and no sign of fragility. Just a sphere of light slipping through the solar wind as if mocking everything we understand about comets. For months, scientists have scrutinized it, debated it, and expressed skepticism. Yet none have managed to provide an explanation. Perhaps that's because 3A Atlas was never intended to be understood. Maybe it was simply meant to be observed. Consider that for a moment. Every comet that has ventured close to the sun has adhered to the same principles: heat, expansion, sublimation, release. They glow, they incinerate, and they fade away. However, not this one. It originated from outside our solar system, older than our planet. Arrived on a trajectory so accurate that it threaded through our solar plane, brightened like a flare, turned bluer than the sun, and then fell silent. No gases, no debris, no sound, just stillness. If this is indeed natural, then the universe has introduced a new language we have yet to decipher. And if it isn't, then something out there wanted to demonstrate that it can traverse the stars unseen, undeterred, and perfectly whole. When Dr. Avi Lowe examined the data, he perceived more than mere numbers. He recognized a message of humility, illuminating how little we truly grasp. Ignoring data, he remarked, is akin to refusing to peer through Galileo's telescope. It doesn't alter the reality outside our grasp. The Earth orbited the Sun billions of times before anyone acknowledged it. The universe does not await our permission to exist. It simply is. 3A Atlas serves as a reminder of that fact. It disregards what we believe, what gets published, or how uncomfortable its behavior renders us. It continues to race forward, silent, defiant, carrying its secrets beyond our rocket's reach, beyond our imagination's limits. Perhaps in a few weeks, as it nears Earth, we will uncover more. Possibly the next set of photographs will reveal the truth. A simple rock formed around a distant star, or something more deliberate, more accurate. But perhaps we won't. It may retreat back into the void, leaving us with only unanswered questions and the faint echo of what could have been. When that moment arrives, we will reflect on this juncture. The time a comet with no tail prompted the entire planet to look up and wonder, while realizing that discovery is not merely about finding answers, but about acknowledging that there are still questions worth pursuing. Because, lurking somewhere between science and mythology, between evidence and wonder, lies the truth we consistently forget. The universe is brimming with elements we have yet to encounter. 3A Atlas may not be the first, and undoubtedly won't be the last. However, for a fleeting moment, it reminded us that the cosmos still has surprises in store, and some of them are observing us in return. If this narrative sparked your curiosity about what's possible, don't let it get lost in the vast sea of the internet. Subscribe to this channel, as we will continue to follow 3E Atlas until its final flicker fades away. Activate notifications so that you don't miss what transpires as the next visitor crosses our skies, and share your theories in the comments. What do you believe 3A Atlas truly is? As long as we keep gazing upwards, the universe will persist in responding. Sometimes whispering, sometimes in hues of blue, and at times with no tail at all.